Hey guys, welcome to another video. This is completely just going to be practice questions, like I said in the last video. So it's going to probably focus most on scanf functions. So let's just get started. So the first question is input the date in the form mm/dd slash yyyy, and then display it in the form yyymmdd. So here's an example. Enter a date. It prints out enter a date in the form of a month, day, and year. For example, it's August 10th, 2011. And then it's going to print out you enter the date, year, month, day. So it looks very clear cut, but it does have one little tricky part, and you'll probably notice if you try this example by yourself. So you guys just pause this video right here and go right ahead and try it, and come back when you're ready. Alright guys, so let's just get started on this. So I'm gonna do the include studio.h int main. Alright, so we're gonna need three different types of integers that is gonna be focused in the scanf function. So we're gonna need month, day, and year. So the next step is to ask the question in our program. It's enter a date, dd yyyy colon space. Now we're going to do the scanf function. This is where important. We want to have these slashes in the scanf function because this is going to separate the integers. So once we put 8 here and we slash it, it starts a whole, it goes to the next variable. So we want to do quotations, %d, slash, go to the next variable, %d, slash, %d. And then we're going to comma. So the first one is going to be the month. So we're going to do the address operator with month. Same thing, we're going to do the address operator, but with day, since that's the second set. And for the last one, it's going to be year. Alright, and then we're going to print out you entered the date. So you see how all these numbers are squished together? This is the year, the month, and the day. So you want to have a %d for each of them together with no spaces. So the %d for the year, %d for the month, and %d for the day. And the printf function, you don't need the ampersand sign, so we want year, month, day. Year, month, and day. Return 0. So like I said, there's a little trick. This would be perfect if it was past October, November, December, because it would have two numbers. If we write it like this, it's just going to have the 8 and no 0 right here. It would look like this. So I'll show you. I'll print it out for you. 0, 8, 10, 20, 11. 2011, 8, 10. There's no 0. So there's a little trick. I don't expect you guys to know this. I just wanted you, while writing the program, to think about different solutions of what it could be. So the best thing to do is you're going to have 0, 2 and 0, 2. So what this means is there are two places, and if one of them is not, if any of the places are unoccupied, it would fill it with a 0. So we want that to make sure for month and day that it would fill with a 0. For example, It could be August 5th. So this is just one number and one number. So if we were to print it out, it'd be 2011-85 instead of 2011-0805. So this is what it does. It does two places. If one is unfilled, it would add a 0. So we're doing that to both month and day. So let's change that back. And let's compile and run. 08, 10, and 2011. There you go. 2011-08-10. So let's move on to the next question. So the question is, the form of an ISBN number is 00-0-000-0000-0000. The first set of zeros is called the GS1 prefix. So it's referring to this. The group identifier is the second set. The publisher code is the third set. The item number is the fourth set. And the check digit is the last. So the goal for this program is to ask the user for the ISBN number. And the program will print out the list of each type of these. Only the ISBN number should be inputted and the other numbers should be generated from the program. So here's an example of a successful program run. So you're going to print out, enter the ISBN number, and you're going to enter a random ISBN number. So the program should auto-generate the GS1 prefix with its variable, group identifier, publisher code, etc. And this is what your program should look like. So you guys can go ahead and try it and just pause the video and come back when you're ready. So I'm just going to go ahead and move on to starting the problem. So we're going to have 5 different variables. We're going to have one for each set of numbers. So the first one would be the GS1 since it's going to be first. Then the identifier is going to be second. The code is going to be third. The number is going to be fourth. And the digit is going to be fifth. So the next part we want to do is we want to print out the question. So the question is, or the statement is, to enter the ISBN number. So now, for the most important part of the program, it's the scanf function. It looks similar to what we did before. So it's going to be %d separate for the first set of numbers, separated by the hyphen, and this will transfer to the identifier. Hyphen transfers to the code. Hyphen transfers to number, and transfers to digit. And this is an important part because we have to put them in order. Because if we just put it at any random order, this would all be jumbled up. And don't forget the address operator since this is a scanf function. So it's going to be GS1. Then it's going to be code. Identifier, I'm sorry. Then code. Number. And digit. And the rest is simple. So you're going to print out the list. So the first one is GS1 prefix. %d. Remember, these are not being inputted, so it has to take the value from the program. So you can't just hard code the value. So it's going to be GS1. Remember, to print out function, we don't need the address operator. And we're going to just go down and do this for every single one. And this one's the identifier. Next one we are going to do for the publisher code. Same thing. And this one's under the name code. Last one's going to be for the item number, %d, same thing as always. And finally, the last one is the check digit number. And we get the return 0 for normal program termination. So before running this, make sure your scanf function looks like this, because these hyphens are the one that are separating each variable. So once a hyphen is put in, it goes to the next one, then the next one, and it maps out to these numbers right here. With the address operators, it's changing the value at the address of these variables in memory. Alright, so we're going to compile and run this and see if it's correct. So it's 978 0393 97950 and 0. And it looks correct. The only thing I forgot to do is we need to add the new line character, since the printf function does not automatically add an enter key into there. So we'll do that right now. It's not like Java, where in Java system println goes to the next one. It's more like Java's system.printout, that it doesn't go to the next line. So using these new line characters are going to be very constant, and you're going to have to get used to them. But it's very simple. It's just a \n. So let's compile this and run it again. So 978 0393 97950 and 0. So the GS1 prefix, 978, group identifier, publisher code, item number, and check digit. So let's compare that with the example program. Enter the ISBN. Oh, and the last one was 3. I could change that, but you guys get the idea. Alrighty, so we're going to move on to the next question, okay? Hey guys, so this is the last question for today. So just to preface this question is not what it really looks like. It's not going to be just an add or subtract or multiply. This is going to need some thinking and formatting. So this is going to be the question. It's enter 2 fractions and find the sum of the fractions. Enter both fractions and a plus sign in the same scanf function and print out the sum. So this is a program example. It looks very simple. It's just, it needs a little bit of thinking behind it. So what you're going to do is you're going to enter, this is a program. You're going to print out enter 2 fractions separated by a plus sign, and you're going to input this in the scanf function. You're going to input it in this form. In the form 0, 0, plus 0, 0. So these zeros are the numbers you will be inputting in the scanf function. And this should be printed out. The sum is 3824. So that's what's going to be printed out. Alright, so you guys take a minute to try to do this question. Actually really think about it. This one is definitely more of a math type of problem than we've done previously. The previous ones are more coding, like try to create a scanf function, printf function to enter these values. This is more of the outside the box beginner C problem. Alright, so pause the video and go ahead. So I'm going to go through my train of thought. What I want the first fraction to look like is A, B. And the second one is X, Y. So those are going to be the variables that I want to match them up to. So let's start with my directive. Int main. I always like doing the next line. Alright, so we're going to need 4 different types of variables. Not 4 different types, we need 4 variables. We have 4 numbers. So, for the first ones, I want a, b, x, and y. So what I want to do next, after these variables are already declared, I want to ask the question or ask the statement. So printf, enter 2 fractions separated by a plus sign and okay, so that's what I'm going to do. And now it's the scanf function. So for the first ones, these are going to be AB and these are going to be XY. So we have to do it in this form. So it's going to be %d slash %d. That takes care of my first fraction plus %d, %d. Don't look at this as doing operations, these. You just look at them as separating the variables. But that's the form that's given. So for my first one, this is going to be A. My second one's going to be B. My third one's going to be X. My fourth one's going to be Y. Those are the variables that I'm choosing to do. You can choose whichever ones you want to do. You can name them whatever. So I'm going to do in the form A, B, X, and Y. So now it's asking for the sum. The tricky part of this is you cannot just multiply or divide these numbers like this. Because if we were to do a double number, we'd come up with a decimal. We want it in this form. We want it like this. So the way that I look at it and that I want to do it is I want to do, so let's say AB apologize for that, AB times X and Y. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cross multiply A times Y times Y, and I'm going to add it to the cross multiplication of X times B. So this is going to be the top half of the fraction. And the second half is going to be B times Y. So what we need to do for this is we need to declare 2 more variables, one for the top half and one for the bottom half. We're going to cross multiply to find the top, and we're going to multiply B and Y to find a common factor. You can do 12 for anything, but to make it simply and the way that we can print it out, we have to do it this way. So for the first part, I'm going to declare the top half of the fraction. So the top half of the fraction is this. So it's going to be A times Y plus, we can just do B times X just for simplicity's sake. And this is going to be the top half. Now we want to do the bottom half. And it's going to be B times Y. Alright, now we can print out the sum. Printf. The sum is %d. Reason why is because we're inputting these numbers, so these numbers are subject to change. And slash %d. And it's going to be top and bot. Return 0. And I believe that should be the program right there. So let's compile and run this, see if there's any errors. Doesn't seem to be any errors. So let's try it out. We'll follow this one. So they're asking for 5, 6 plus, oops, apologize for that. They're asking 5, 6 plus 3, 4. There you go. The sum is 38 divide 24. Alrighty guys, I hope this helped. Remember, you do need a lot of practice when you start coding, any program coding, even if it's a regular language. You need to get used to the syntax. You need to get used to getting in that mentality to code and to think outside the box. Remember, coding is just like math. There's logical steps that you need to do, and you could see it in this program right here, that we had to do math to find out the question. We could not have just multiplied these and hoped it would have worked out. So thank you guys, and I will see you in the next video.